Yeah, the energy. Now you wanna get fake.
I ain't being fake.
I'm not talking about you being fake. The laughs. 2 seconds
I'm,
ago, I couldn't even get
I'm
you to.
I just told you I was here. Like,
All right. Well, can you hit the light? I like the vibe a little. Don't be dramatic
I'm
now.
trying to go to sleep. We got the lights off.
Don't be dramatic now. But yeah, so trying something new. I would say trying, but I don't know. We're doing what's in our spirit to do.
Yes, I'm happy to be doing what's in my spirit.
So I don't know. How are you feeling right now?
Um, Honestly, I am like exhausted right now. But like you just said, I am really happy to be doing what's in my spirit though. Even though hmm, it's requiring some uncomfortable things, but I don't know. I think I'm really in a place of embracing the like just even being tired, like actually realizing what it means to just embrace being tired while maintaining a good attitude and like still going. So I would say I'm pretty good. I think tired is just a feeling, but I feel good.
That's good, Bill.
What about you?
Um, I mean, I could say I'm tired, but honestly, I feel like I can just keep going if I have to, and because I have to. So I don't know. Hopefully, as this goes on, we forget the microphone is on.
I already know, forgot the microphone is on.
But I guess just what I mean by that is, hopefully we could share some good insight, some happy thoughts, some real thoughts, um, some real feelings. But I mean, I don't know, as far as how I feel, I think I'm feeling excited.
Ooh,
Excited about just what God has. We'll see what He has.
yeah, I'm excited too. I can't stop smiling. I don't know if it's because we're doing it together and that's it feels really rewarding, or I am just really excited to, do something new
Yeah,
and open up really like just all the possibilities of what I know really been and that is inside of us to do. Um, I don't know, sometimes it could be difficult finding ways that feels realistic to do it, but
yeah,
um I guess actually seeing and being willing to try what those things are puts you in a different space. So this is kind of exciting. It's kind of weird, but
but it's not because we do this every day. We do it throughout the day, and that's why we figure we might as well bring some insight to the people, whoever they might be, whoever y'all are. Hopefully, our voices find, and I believe our voices will find the right people and will connect with other voices. But essentially, everybody has a voice, but we feel like we have, a couple of words to give. So I don't know. Let's start off with a thought or something like, I don't know. What do you, if somebody was on the other end of this transmission of our voices
mm-hmm.
and they needed your voice, what would you tell them right now in this moment? Like, what's in your spirit you know, to pass on?
Honestly, what's in my spirit to pass on right now is God, cultivating a relationship with God. That's really the literally what's that's it. Excuse me. That is literally what is on my mind at this very moment. Is just continuing to cultivate a relationship with God and just consulting with Him about everything. I
Not
mean,
sleep.
I'm sorry.
I said not sleep.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Like I was tired, but if I feel like God's saying to do something, then having the energy to do what God said to do, because just really trusting and believing that what's on the other side of it, um, is going to be worth it and fulfilling and even give you the energy that you didn't even know you had. Um, I think just talking with him and really asking him to order your steps makes even being tired or being uncertain like that much more worth it. So that's how I'm feeling right now. I'm feeling like I'm looking for God in everything. I'm listening to him. Shoot, if he wants me to he wants me to talk to y'all, he told us to talk to y'all, then that's what we gonna do. So as simple as some things may sound, I feel like it's a spirit talking, it's a spirit permeating, um, because it's real. And
So what's the message to the person on the other?
the message is talk to God.
Now, I heard you said cultivate a relationship with God, right?
Yes,
That's what's important to you, and that's what you're telling them to do.
yes.
All right, like that. Well, I'll ask myself since you're not gonna ask.
I'm
What would
sorry, I
I?
should add. I do want to ask you.
Okay,
Okay, what do you want to tell them? That question.
basically,
Okay.
what I don't know. What do I want to use my voice, to transmit to the person on the opposite end of what this thing is?
Yeah.
Somebody that might need a message, or if I have a message to give in this moment. I mean, I think be you. I think is important. Like be yourself, and part of that is, taken from what you said. Like believe in God, and I'm even say that exactly, but basically, to cultivate a relationship with God, you got to believe in Him. So basically, being you, allows you to really dig deep enough that I feel like you almost have to realize like you didn't put you here. You got to find out about you, and you got to go to the source to do that. So
Yeah.
for anybody that's, I'm not going to say just struggling being you, but seeking purpose in life, seeking, you know, how you can do your passion more often, or how you can even translate, what it is that you're doing currently into, something that I guess is more meaningful or whatever. Like, being yourself is the key. It's the catalyst to like getting across that bridge, or even to be able to have the faith to step on the bridge. So I think in this time for myself, like, I know I'm me, but making sure that like I'm feeding me. I'm, seeking God, seeking my relationship with God so that I can be a better me. I'm, you know, working with you to be a better me so we can have a better us. And, that's another thing with being you. You got to get around the people that allow you to be you and encourage a better you, encourage the best you. So,
Yeah,
uh,
I'm glad you said that because I think a big thing for me too is knowing that, I mean, the quicker you learn to pay attention to who you are, I think the quicker you can see those like results or the turnaround of, I mean, of any simple task. Because I know for me, although work in progress, listening to, which I always say this, listening to my intuition is really big. Um, and when you're younger, or when I was younger, I didn't really think much of it. But then as I continue to mature, I'm like, oh, okay, this is literally something I was given to pay attention to as part of who I am. So ignoring that, um, I am, it takes me a bit longer to complete things when I am ignoring that.
mm,
But when I pay attention to it and I'm ready to act on it, then that's where I feel like I see exponential growth happen.
Mm,
So, um, and I like what you said too about feeding yourself.
basically,
Just like my grandma say, a man can't live on bread alone.
basically. Yeah, not just feeding yourself, not just eating, but what do you eat? On a regular basis. How healthy is the food, right?
Yes.
So don't just look at me. We got a conversation happening. but but seriously, I don't know. I mean, I think being you is just it's cliche in a way, but it's almost like it's a lost art. Like everybody wants to duplicate what they see, and in many ways, that it's because of inspiration. I think people are inspired, and that's why they want to say, "Hey, I want to do that. Oh, I want to be like that."
Yeah.
But in reality, we can take that inspiration and it should just further point us to again just that the depth of who we are individually or as individuals. Um, and the more I guess intentional time we take to do that, the more we realize like, oh, I can be that inspiration too for somebody else. Or I'm inspired by me, and not again not in a way that's necessarily unhealthy, but in a way that even where when you look in the mirror, you can say like, I love who I am. You know what I mean? And I know that person. You know,
Who? With-
I
Let's,
mean,
I mean, talking about that, looking in the mirror and loving who you are, it's so crazy because I feel like that's really something that takes a lot of work.
yeah.
It takes real work to look in the mirror. And, I was talking with somebody the other day and they were talking about how they picked up this new activity. And when I asked them why, they basically said because they didn't like themselves and they needed to learn how to do that and to how to learn how to protect their conscience from comparing just by being out and about.
Hmm.
And I thought it was
Was this like a genie?
who this person?
He said protect their conscience.
um, I mean, yeah, because you could be out and about, and instead of staying focused on what's in front of you, you're looking left and right, just seeing what everybody else has. I mean, I feel like it really is a lot of simple things that people are avoiding the work, or they're thinking it doesn't even take work.
Yeah.
But it does.
I mean, not to cut you off, but yeah, basically. I mean, I'm not even saying that that's who I am entirely. I mean, without yesterday and by the grace of God tomorrow, I mean, again, the steps we take every day is what allows us to even be that much closer or even cause us to realize we got work to do. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I'm not saying I'm there, and I'm not saying again that it's something you just accomplish or achieve. And it's like, oh, I'm here. Like you might feel like that, but still, like I mean, humility would obviously tell you that, by the grace of God, tomorrow you'll be better. You know what I mean? So you always got work to do, and it's for a good reason, for a good purpose, because other people, even if we think about it just from a standpoint of like, there's kids in the world. You know what I mean? Like you have a reason to be better and to inspire. You know,
Mhm.
so
I think the more people can realize that there are people actually looking up to them, they will also have more of a reason to take that take being an inspiration more serious.
yeah,
Um, because that's something I had to realize over time. Because sometimes, like people like you and stuff, but you don't really know that a person, people being attracted to you or liking you, you don't really take that as, oh, they're actually inspired by me.
yeah,
And as soon as you realize that there's actually an impact that you can have there, and I feel like you will take more serious that much more, you know, what you're doing or the habits you're cultivating just by simply knowing the people around you or that you're connected to.
yeah,
They don't just like you, they're inspired by you.
That's true. And some of them may not be inspired by you yet, but you have their attention.
Yeah.
And then there's that. So it's like still, and I mean, you wouldn't want to get caught up in trying to, impress people or whatever just to, so I can say I inspired them. But like, the reality is if you can inspire them for the right reasons, why not? That's not up to you whether or not they're inspired. But what is up to you is like how you handle being you, you know what I mean? And how you handle being in maybe a position where you can impact people, you know?
Yeah.
So, but I agree with what you're saying though. So yeah, I mean, that's good. I mean, I think, cultivating, cultivating a relationship with God for sure and being you, I think go hand in hand.
Mhm.
Um, and a lot of people, I don't know how much time people take in cultivating a relationship with God for real. And I mean, it probably sounds deep to some people. To others, it sounds like a practical daily thing, a daily walk, which it is. But like, it's really way more extensive than just like, you know, I believe in God or I go to church or,
Mhm.
I mean, of course, it can include those things. It has to include believing for sure, but I think even as far as church is concerned, like that just goes hand in hand with the people that you like. Who do you mess with? Who are the people in your corner? Who are the people that you consult for wisdom? You know what I mean, or for advice? Um, who are the people you sit back and dream with, or you stand up and say like, let's go work on this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So again, I think I don't know. I think that there's different perspectives on like what it looks like to cultivate your relationship with God, but it's individual, you know what I mean? But as long as you're on that path, I think that's what's most important, you know, and being on that path for specific reasons and purposes, not just like being on an aimless path that like, you know, there's no real
Yeah.
like driving force that's like based in faith and principles and being better and not just being better, but being you. Like
Absolutely.
so. But I will say, I think defining being you, that's something that I think we should all sit down and like do. And it's not something that can be done in one sitting, I don't think. But I think it's something that, if you can further define like even what you might even be able to wrap your mind around like that means for you. Like not because it's deep, because I'm saying it, but because like when you really think about what that is for yourself, like, okay, what does it mean to be me? Like, and
So,
and
would you
like
say,
let that
sorry,
take you down the path.
asking questions? Like, would you say like, how would you define you? You mean like just asking yourself those questions about who you are?
Basically. But even starting with that, like, what does it mean to be me? And see what thoughts, what thoughts cross your mind when you say that, when you hear that, when your
Yeah.
spirit says that, like searching your heart for those things and like even trying to describe that in words. And
That's
then of
good.
course if there's questions that even come out of that, like,
Mhm.
okay, what are those questions? Write those questions down. Answer those. Because nobody can tell you that,
Right.
except for God Himself. And I feel like that's the beginning almost of like cultivating a relationship with God.
Yeah, that's
Because
true.
God is in you too. He's not just,
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that because the same way cultivating a relationship with God looks different for people. For me, it's literally just been asking those questions. As I always tell people, just ask God. And I know for me, if I say ask God, I have faith God is going to back me up. So ask God, y'all. If you're not sure, ask, ask, ask. That's my recommendation. And the fact that those two things are literally individual journeys.
what?
Um, Cultivating your relationship with God
Being
and
you.
yeah, you would. You
I
disagree?
mean, I think they can be because it depends on where you stand.
Like
If you
the
don't have a relationship with God, it's definitely being you is gonna mean something completely different.
That's true.
But you might go down that path and still be able to.
I guess I feel like at the core, it is like an individual journey, even though people are connected.
Oh yes, and you said both paths though. I'm thinking you mean like because these are two paths. We got cultivating your relationship with God, and
um,
we got being you.
hmm
But one person can be on both of those paths.
right?
But they should be one.
Yeah,
Like you should be able to cultivate your relationship with God in the name of being you. You get what I'm saying?
yeah,
In the same way, you should be able to, continue down either of those paths, without, I mean, you might be able to continue, like I said, down the path of being you, but that's going to mean something completely different if you don't believe in God.
yeah.
So, but you're saying as far as other people are concerned, multiple people,
No,
you're saying for one person.
yep, for the individual.
So
Because you
you
have to
think,
have your own. Okay, yeah, I want to hear your question.
I'm saying, so you think like you got to go down the path of being you separate from cultivating.
Oh, no, not at all. I feel like, I just feel like finding out what those two things look like,
Hmm.
I guess, is all I'm saying is that is the individual journey. Not that they're separate from each other,
Yeah.
but some people may have more of a sense of who they are, but they may not necessarily feel like they're hearing from God. Or some people do maybe acknowledge God, but there are a lot of influences stuff around. So
Yeah.
not completely learning to just listen to who they are
That's true.
or pay attention to who they are. So
It's true.
I guess all I'm saying is the group projects ended in high school. So it's really time to do the like that self work.
Yeah, they're definitely individual in the sense that like, you got to do it. But I mean, you could be on one or the other path and not be thinking about the other side of it and get to the same desired outcome if you
Hmm.
sit down with a certain intent in the beginning.
Yeah, I agree.
And even if you're open-minded enough to really learn and to get the most out of either journey. I mean, because if you sit down to really learn about you, you might realize like how much you need to rely on, whether that's God or just even realizing like, oh, I can't do it all by myself. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And then the other side of it is like, okay, sit down and really learn about not just who is God, but like, yeah, that, but like more inner. You know what I mean? Like, how does that guide me? You know what I mean? Like, what did He create me for? What's my purpose? That kind of thing. I feel like that could lead you to, you know, just realizing more about you in the end. Like, oh, okay, like, okay, God, thank you for showing me that. I didn't know that about myself. Like He might, you know what I mean? Like you having these, it might start with baby steps. So it starts with like abstract questions you might not even know you talking to somebody. But in the end, it's like you're thanking Him personally. Like now you develop that whole rapport. Like appreciate you, God.
Yeah.
But it doesn't start there. And in that, you might have a better sense of self in the end, even though you were just trying to cultivate the relationship with Him.
Hmm.
So it's like almost like, yeah, it could be two individual paths, but you know, you end up in the desired outcome if you just depending on how you go about it. I don't, it really
I think as long as
you
you
got it.
just, if you able to be real with yourself and real with God, not that they're separate, but if you're just able to be real about I think you said the intent, like knowing the intent.
Mhm.
Um, I think that's where we see the most like results or able to even understand more clearly because if it's just simply about the glamorous sounding part,
Yeah.
then we kind of missed out really on where we can actually grow, which may mean addressing or being vulnerable about like uncomfortable feelings and situations,
Hmm.
or even things we know about ourselves that are uncomfortable and we know that should change. But I think, sometimes I guess we hear like this growth journey or learning about ourselves and learning about God. And if we're not willing to be vulnerable, then we really missed on like the real element of what you can get out of it,
Hmm.
because it's simply just about like, yeah, I'm gonna glow up and be this person or have this wonderful relationship.
Hmm.
And um but it is real. It's a real journey. You're a real person. It's a real relationship, and we're experiencing real life. So we can't just I, I just feel like we can't block out, the uncomfortable elements of it.
Yeah.
Is all I'm saying.
And I mean, even with that, like, there's a parallel, I guess you could say, between, both of those paths. I mean, I don't think that you can go down either of those paths and not have the opportunity to, like, be complete. You know what I mean? If being complete looks like, essentially knowing who you are and having a relationship with why you're here and what you're to do, which essentially I see that as you have a relationship with God, because only He can tell you that. Only He knows that. Only He
Hmm.
can give you the confidence to carry that out. So it's almost like, I mean, you can't really fail or lose by going down either of those paths as long as you're true to that path and what it presents to you, and you're true in your response to it. Not only looking at it like, don't look at me weird. We trying like like come on now.
You going
Nah,
off
but
right
I'm messing
now.
with you. But I'm just saying, like, as long as you're true to that, you're not gonna get to a place, and you're not gonna get to a place where you say like, oh nah, I mean, I want to be me in the name of like I'm gonna do it how I do it. Like that's not necessarily being you if you're not being true to like what you're presented with along the way.
Yeah.
So I can only speak to obviously what I know as anybody else, but I believe that that's true. Like if we go down either of those paths, like if you have the confidence or the faith or the curiosity to learn about God and and how he or she or it or the universe or
Hmm.
all the above, whatever you want to look at it as, like how that correlates with your life, like why you're here. Like I confidently, strongly believe like you'll become you, and vice versa. Like if you really want to be you, I'm confident that like you'll find God on that path. You'll find out what you believe in. You'll be tested and you'll see where your faith lies. You'll
Go. Oh.
yeah, but I'm just okay. Well, yeah. So I mean, but yeah, all the above. Like, but you just have to be true to what that path is, and true in your response. Like, don't
Oh.
don't be committed to it, and you say like, oh yeah, I'm going down this path, but at the same time, like you deviate from not talking about being perfect or not having missteps or ever having fear or whatever. But I mean, at a certain point, you do have to like you gotta fight that and you have to beat that. You have to look past that and continue to say, I'm going down this path, and there's a reason why I'm going down this path, and I'm not gonna deviate from that. You know.
Yeah, I like what you said. I think you literally just said being committed to your response. Is that how you worded that?
Basically, I might have said it a
Or
little
true
different,
to,
but
maybe you
yeah,
said
I
true to
mean,
your response.
true to the path and true to the response. That's
True
what I
to the
said.
response. Yeah, that's good. I mean, I do feel like it directly connects with hmm,
What?
I lost my train of thought.
That's all right. I mean, I was just saying it drew a parallel. I mean, it's
Oh, I guess I am piggybacking off of what I literally just said, or your response to what I said, of just being vulnerable. I
It's only
mean,
us here.
yeah.
Whoever's listening.
Was that Oh, okay.
Nah, but
Um, yeah, committed, I mean, true to the response. I think, I mean, in so many words, I just think that's a good way to put it, being
yeah,
true to the response.
I mean, yeah, I just see that as if you don't have that as a key element, like you could say whatever you say, and our words are powerful, but as far as your actions are concerned, like it can't be contingent. Like it can't be, you kind of like reneging or you're just seeking what it is that you're seeking. You know what I mean? The desired outcome is important, but as far as like, how you get there is concerned, like life as we know presents things to us. We can dictate or determine or change certain things, in a sense, but if it's not one of the controllables, as I've learned, like which are things such as, our emotion, the passion that we have, like, doing what we say we're gonna do. Again, our words are powerful, but then there's the action to back it. You know what I mean? So if it's not a controllable, again, life presents things to us that we can't control. Life does throw things at us to where we have to choose how to respond, or we have to be able to control, how we respond. And again, so we can stay true to our response. That's a controllable in a sense. But or I should say in essence, that's a controllable. But at the same time, like it may not be so easy that you never question or you never, you know, take a day off or take 10 steps back. But at some point, you got to control what you can control and keep going forward. And you got to realize, like, you know, the end goal, maybe not just the end goal, meaning again that it's not something you're going to have to face again tomorrow. But the end goal just means, like, what is it that I want out of this, and what is it that I'm willing to go through to really see and learn and be like
Yeah.
everything that I'm here for. So yeah, I mean,
I think also it's really, really, um, that what you're saying really allows you the opportunity to find where your power really lies,
mhm.
which is literally you having the power. And it's such a powerful place to be in.
Yeah,
Um,
cliche but true.
yeah. So honestly, really putting those things into practice only helps you to realize that more and more. It's literally like the only way I'm starting to realize that you can really get that understanding. It's like, okay, I'm tired, but what is it actually, what will it actually look like if I learn to push through being tired and still get it done?
Yeah,
And
I have that thought every day.
it's like, wow, I actually can keep going,
Yeah,
and that is fulfilling. Um,
and sometimes, not to cut you off, but
uh-huh.
sometimes you got to think back. Like you got to remember either when you either had the energy or the strength or whatever else, you could check off the list to remind you that like those time, like what was I doing in that season? Like, oh, I probably did that for however many days or weeks or months straight, or like that was my lifestyle then, and that's why I was able to. And you can't go back literally, but you can apply that, and say, oh, okay, that's what I meant when I said I think about that every day. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, I don't, lift as heavy weights as I used to. You know what I mean? And I don't want to necessarily, but that don't mean I don't want to be that strong. So like whatever adaptations I need to make in my regimen, but
Yeah.
essentially, I got to do things like you said, like regularly, and then you develop like that muscle memory as they call it. But
Yeah,
essentially,
that
the strength,
strength.
the endurance,
Ooh.
the power, like you said.
Yeah, we not weak over here. We not weak.
Yeah, you said it. I'll cut you off though, so you can. My bad.
No, I mean, that's essentially what I was saying. I mean, again, it's just, it becomes really rewarding and fulfilling. And you even start to realize, like, you're not even that person. Like, you thought you was the tired person. You thought you wasn't the morning person or the late night person. Like, you just a person. So really you got the power to do whatever your person
You
requires of you to do.
Are you
Huh?
stealing my stuff?
I'm stealing your stuff.
Are you?
What I stole from you?
I'm just a person. I just said that yesterday. But we are
If-
just people. Especially when you get to that point where you realize like it don't matter what tired is, or it don't matter what I don't know, I'm scared or I ain't got it, how I'm gonna get it. Like you just a person now. You better move like a person. But that goes back to what we said. Like I mean, between realizing what your power is, like you're saying, but also just going back to like cultivating that relationship, and being you for real. Like I feel like you find that humility and realizing like in a way you are just a person. Like not in a small way, but in a big way. Like you find your power, in your weakest kind of moments too.
yeah.
In a way, like some people may not realize that, but the moment that you kind of just put all those feelings or the circumstances to the side and like just focus on what it is that you truly desire, like in your heart, like you really
Mm.
gain like in I'm gonna say insurmountable power, but I just mean like all the temptation around you won't be able to surmount the power you have.
Yeah.
Like you'll be at the top of that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that feels good. You
You
know
give
when
us
you,
an example,
yeah, you know when you used to be in school, like in middle school or something, and
maybe.
like if you was tired because you had to get up, so you know how people kind of operate on like that tired high,
Yeah,
but once you see your friends and you get to laughing and stuff, you might still be tired,
yeah,
but that tired feels good for some reason.
yeah.
Like you showed up to school, you knew you was gonna see your friends.
You push to get to the. I don't know if school is the desired outcome, but if it was a girl there, or if it was your homies was there, or
Basically,
if
like you still had
you ain't
something to
have no
look
food
forward
at home,
to.
say the French toast was getting served, and you got some hot French toast. But yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, I was on that high anyway. I wasn't trying to go to sleep for real. I stayed up late, got up early. But when it was time for school, I did drag my feet, but I still went. But yeah, when you get there, it's like you walking around on cloud nine.
Yeah.
But that's because, especially kids, I mean, it's energy.
I mean, that's the type of energy we need to have anyway.
True,
Childlike energy.
true. Shout out to the kids.
Shout out
Shout
to
out
the
to the middle
kids.
schoolers.
Shout out to the middle schoolers
But yeah, man,
and the high schoolers.
all the kids, but you said middle school. So it must be something to the age of what, 11 to 13, 14.
Who don't ask me
Are you
'cause
that excited for high school too?
me?
I'm just saying in general.
Oh,
When we
for
went
them.
from middle school to high school, did we have that same excitement when we got there?
Yeah, we did. It was just a little bit different, but I would say
I don't know.
so.
I think you start realizing in high school, like, I'm straight on this. Not that you don't want to be there, but you could create that space. Like it don't have to be structured in the way that it is. Like,
Well, I think it depends. If you kind of still, I mean, not that most people aren't still trying to like find yourself,
mm
because if you still kind of getting caught up, then I don't think so.
caught up in what way?
I don't know, like
Speaking in parable,
you might be just like trying to be cool for real. Like you going out of your way to
then you might what want to go
go where?
to school.
Yeah.
But if you're not trying to be cool, then you don't care to go. That's what you're saying?
I mean, like, you're just not really tripping when you get there.
I'm saying is the same energy being kept as a kid when you show up to school between middle school and high school.
And I'm saying, I think so. If you got a sense of like who you are, but if you going and you know you trying to be cool
Mm-hmm.
and you know you trying to fit in and do all this extra stuff,
Mm-hmm.
then you might not have the same energy by the time you enter.
True. I guess because you're putting up with a different fight in a sense.
Yeah.
Like you putting more energy into other areas. I get what you're saying. Well, that's because of the world we live in. But that's why, again, being you, not every kid is afforded with like maybe that tiny type of example at home, or maybe even just certain school experiences being like something that they can I guess just truly express themselves without maybe other people, other kids around them maybe challenging that. But the sooner that you can learn that for real, which I think, just kind of on a learning tip, I think that's why dreams, and dreaming is so important. Just having dreams, having big dreams, because you can align yourself or attach yourself to that, like in a sense, like at all costs. Like you're not really worried about, you might be concerned with other people. You might care and learn to have compassion for other people, and maybe what you're dreaming of becoming or doing, is something that impacts lives. But essentially, the dream is yours. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you protect it, and in the name of that, you're you. But if you don't necessarily, if you're not taught that or don't have great examples of like what that looks like, I think that is when, younger kids get caught up in like, between middle school and high school, hopefully not younger than that, get caught up in trying to impress people or whatever in a way that is not healthy, and they either lose a sense of self or don't really get to cultivate and continue down the path of learning that, because it really should happen early. We should, I think we do know who we are when we come into this world.
I don't disagree.
And we should know more and more really through, middle school, high school, all the
Yeah.
way up. But something causes us to like, you know, lose that sense of self and maybe become out of touch with God, our purpose, our true path, and we gotta get back in tune with it.
Yeah.
So, mm,
Fear.
true.
It's fear from adults and it's society also. Like we all have to be one way or it's not cool.
True.
So as a result, if our creativity or really, who we are gets pushed to the side because we get laughed at
Mm-hmm.
or we're embarrassed or our parents are too overprotective.
Mm-hmm.
So that robs us of the ability to continue to explore who we are or express who we are, especially if who we are shows itself to be different from what our parents do or how they behave or move in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are all reasons why that happens.
Yeah.
So it takes a really long time to then come back to that place um, of having that sense of self and that, sense of purpose.
Yeah. Kind of gotta unlearn some things. I mean, and be real intentional, right? About like
Mm-hmm.
getting to that place, realizing that even some people think they are who they are, but there's a whole nother person in there.
Wow. That's deep. Some people think they are who they are, but but they not. That's a little bit scary.
I mean, we won't be able to know unless they
Tap in.
and realize it. But yeah, I think we I think we gave them a good dosage.
Can I give them an affirmation?
Sure, just don't make too much noise around here. We got our setup going, so we gotta keep it crispy.
Okay, because you said something about a powerhouse, or we were talking about power. So,
Well, for one, before you give the affirmation,
yes.
once you know decide what it's gonna be or find it, I guess tell the people who don't know what that is, and maybe even myself. I'm not saying I don't know. Obviously, we talk about affirmations, but give us your insight on affirmations and kind of why I don't know, why they're something that you go to or look at as a go to.
Okay, so I don't have the Google definition in front of me. Should I read the Google definition
No, I
or
read the
okay?
heart definition. I mean, if you have you're experienced with
I mean, affirmation is
intelligence, so
it,
we trust.
to me it's literally in the word. It's an affirming statement. It's a positive statement um about yourself that you pretty much say every day to help reinforce those positive thoughts or those ways of thinking. Um, and I think your other question was, why do I say them
I mean, yeah,
or
like
how do I?
why are they important to you, basically?
They're important to me because repetition is so important. For me personally, just to get something through my head, I have to run it through my head so many times.
And I guess I also said, why is it a go to? So maybe like, what reason do you
Hmm.
grab for an affirmation? Like, what would make you do that?
And it's a go to because honestly, sometimes you just got to remind yourself who you are. And that's literally what an affirmation will do for you. That's,
For them, or for you?
yeah, that's what I'm going to say.
No,
For
I'm trying to find out about you right now. Like,
that's
why is it your
literally,
go to?
that's literally what an affirmation will do for me. It helps me remind me who I am. And it puts me back in that mind frame of like, I am that woman. I am that woman God created me to be. And I need to see myself the way He sees me. So, by literally coming up with every positive thing I can think about myself, that I need to be thinking about myself, um, going to those affirmations again, it just helped me remind me who I am and the power that I have. So,
It's good.
I get to reinforce that way of thinking with myself. And, as a result, I am able to move confidently through the world.
Got 10 inches closer to the microphone talking about affirmations. So,
That's because you pushed me.
okay. Well, but you said you got an affirmation for them. So,
Okay, yes, I do.
share that with them. And
Um, this is a affirmation for your mind. My mind is a powerhouse for ideas, creativity, and inspiration.
it's good. Take a second for that to sink in. Maybe read it for them one more time in case they didn't catch it. It's kind of deep.
My mind is a powerhouse for ideas, creativity, and inspiration.
So, that goes back to the power you were speaking on.
Yeah, I mean, I think you brought that up. It was really, I like that a lot. Uh, I'm all for power
I mean, I would really say
in a
that
good way.
I think you brought it up. I don't know. But I think the mind is really like, I mean, that's where it happens. You know what I mean? Like, you got to go in within, but then the mind allows you to, like, really reflect that outwardly. You know what I mean? Which is what it says to me, basically. But realizing just the power of our minds and the power of feeding our minds, our spirit, our body. her soul,
Yeah.
you know. I mean, the list could go on, but you know what I'm saying. So yeah, I think that was a good dose. Again,
You
we
did
ain't
a
gotta
great job.
pontificate. You did a great job too.
Thank you.
But so this won't be the last. This might be the first, but whatever it is, you know, it's been a blessing. And
Mm.
yeah, you got. I mean, you shared the affirmation, but you know, you got some.
Well, how we close it out?
Like, just share what's on your mind real quick. I mean,
I did. That was a great ending. But um yeah, I really appreciate this moment to just be able to talk and share these thoughts with you all. Um I really look forward to, sharing more and talking, through this journey ultimately. And it is a blessing. And I'm hoping y'all get something out of this. And yeah.
all right, that's BS. See y'all next week
See you tomorrow.
or tomorrow. Yeah, we might do this every day, but not next week or next time or next podcast.
Yeah.
We're gonna have, you know, as some people I look up to like to say, some riveting conversation. But we're gonna come up with some, topics as they hit our spirit. Literally today, this just happened. We didn't pre-plan it. The only thing we did pre-plan was like, all right, what is God saying to do? We got on the same page. We got on the microphone, and I'm making it sound simple, but man, it takes really everything that we're saying, and we're trying to apply those same things now. So this is not a perfect walk, but it is us taking steps. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean we closing it out once again. But all right, peace and love, and yeah.
Peace.